Hi everyone, I'm Mike Green, Public Information Officer in the Allen County Commissioner's Office, and welcome to CountyLine, the program that features news and information involving county government. One of the most important duties that a citizen can perform takes place right here in a jury box in an Allen County courtroom. How do you get selected for a jury? What's the criteria? What will you be doing as a juror? We're going to take some time to talk about that. And joining us is Allen Superior Judge Fran Gull, who is the supervising judge for the jury office here in Allen Superior Court. First of all, Judge Gull, thanks for being with us. We
Certainly. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Mentioned at the outset, it's one of the most important functions or duties that a citizen has. From your perspective as a jurist, talk a little bit about that importance.
We could not function in the court system without citizens, and citizens perform a vital function for our court and for their community by coming in and resolving disputes between the state and an offender in a criminal matter, between citizens and a business in a civil matter, in any kind of matter involving medical malpractice or tort actions or anything. Jury duty is vital and critical to our system, and we couldn't function without them.
I mean, it's one of the prime things that an individual has in this country is the right to a trial by their peers.
Absolutely, and I hear from defendants all the time that they want a trial by jury of their peers, and they're insistent upon that. Okay.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the process. How many juror notifications does Allen County send out in a period of time?
We send thousands of notifications to folks. They will get a little postcard in the mail, and that postcard will direct them to our website where they can fill out their questionnaire. It will direct them to a phone number that they can call and fill out their questionnaire on the phone, or it will direct them to contact us, and we would be happy to mail them a printed questionnaire for them to fill out and return back to us.
And that's the only way they get a notification?
That's the only way they get notification from the court.
Now, we have had a situation recently that's propped up again. This is the second time in probably a couple of years that a scam is being undertaken in the community, and it involves juror notification. Kind of explain a little bit about what that problem is.
Well, apparently a member of the community, several members of the community, a woman who contacted our office had received a note from an individual directing them to call this number. They called the number, and it was an individual representing themselves to be a detective, talking to them about the fact that they had failed to report for jury duty and that a warrant had been issued for their arrest. To resolve the warrant, they were directed to go to Walmart, purchase a gift card, come back to their home and make a phone call to the same number, and that they would provide that gift card number to the detective on the phone. And the detective then would take that money as payment for the fine and would make sure that the warrant got recalled that was issued for that person's arrest.
That's not how it works, is it?
Totally incorrect, false, big lie. Doesn't happen that way at all.
Exactly what would the process be if someone hasn't responded?
If folks haven't replied to the notice to appear for jury duty, we have a letter that we send to them, and it's a pretty strongly worded letter. We call it our contempt letter, and it advises the individual that they failed to report for jury duty, and they need to come in and explain to us why it is that they failed to report for jury duty. We give them the option to give us a call, and we'll provide them a phone number, which is the number of our office, and they can call, and oftentimes, I'll say 9 times out of 10, I forgot. Right. They just didn't realize that they needed to come in, so it's usually harmless.
So to make it clear, a police officer, a detective, a sheriff's officer, they are not going to contact you if you have not responded.
Correct. Nobody will contact you in that fashion.
Okay, so if you do hear that, if that's the case for you, it's a scam, make sure and report it. Please report it.
Absolutely, please report it, but please do not go and get a gift card. Do not provide that information to anybody. We don't do that over the phone.
Okay. So I've received my card in the mail, and I've called the number. What is the next step in the process?
If the number, when you call, if it indicates that you need to report for jury duty, you need to report by 8:30 either to this building, and it will tell you where to report. You either are reporting to the courthouse or you're reporting down the street to the Bud Meeks Center for a misdemeanor case.
Okay.
You need to come in. We will provide to you a brief orientation about what to expect. We will play a video for you that describes jury duty in Indiana and the importance of jury duty in Indiana. They will then come up to the courtroom and go through the selection process with the judge and the attorneys.
And you can't always go by what you see on television shows, that kind of thing, because obviously each state has a different process. I mean, in general, they may have some of the same, there may be similarities, but Indiana will have specific things. So you need to see that video.
You need to see the video, and then once we're done playing the video, we open it up for questions, and we've got the jury staff downstairs for all kinds of questions that people have. The most pressing question that a lot of folks have is, how long am I going to be here? Can I make a phone call? And I need to leave. And when can I leave?
Okay.
Those are the most.
And when they come here, I assume, what is it, a business casual type of dress? I mean, obviously...
The way you are currently dressed is satisfactory.
I'm ready to go then.
You're ready to go for jury duty.
But you're not looking for shorts or flip-flops or something. I mean, there is some decorum that you need to...
Oh yeah, and we tell you on the, when we send you the card, it gives you the information about where to report, and it instructs you about, please dress appropriately, please bring something to read, you cannot bring your cell phone, so please don't bring your cell phone with you. And it'll give them directions about where to park and that kind of thing.
Now, I notice one thing they can bring is like a personal computer. Is that right?
They can, but we really discourage personal computers because so many of them now have the ability to film and the ability to record. And I'm not going to impose upon the security staff downstairs to try to make that distinction.
And that's an interesting point to bring up because it involves the phones as well. Besides the fact that the phone going off in the middle of a courthouse disturbing a trial that's going on is bad, but all of them now pretty much have the capability of taking pictures or video, and that is absolutely prohibited in Indiana.
Absolutely prohibited. To get your camera into the building, you have to sign, and you get special permission to bring your cameras into the building.
Okay, so, and there's probably, at that time, I assume you don't have thousands in here on a quarterly basis, so you've got it broken down into maybe, 100 or so each time?
We break it down into manageable panels. We bring in anywhere between 30 and 60 people, and it really depends on the type of the case. A civil case may take a little bit more people because it may take a little bit longer. A minor felony or a minor misdemeanor matter may not take as many folks.
Okay, so I can't bring my phone in, but I'm concerned because there may be an emergency that occurs outside the courtroom and I need to be reached in that case. You provide some way to do that?
Oh, absolutely. We have a bailiff staff that we provide that phone number to, and we provide an after-hours number as well. We also give them the number of the jury staff office if there's anything that those people need to do to be able to contact their loved one. They can call the jury office or they can call the bailiffs to get messages, and that happens fairly routinely.
Okay. Are there any exclusions for folks to serve on a jury? Age or, say, a health condition that might prevent them, is that a reasonable exemption?
There used to be a whole bunch of exemptions in the statute. When we passed the jury rules back in 2002, it eliminated all of the exemptions. The only specific exemption now is if you are 75 years of age or older, you may request to be exempt from jury duty. If you have served within the last 2 years, you may request to be exempt from jury duty. If you are a member of the armed forces and you are currently under orders, you may be exempt from jury duty. And if you are a law enforcement officer and you are called for a criminal matter, you are automatically given the ability to exempt yourself. Those are the only exemptions.
I'll bet you've heard this from people before, because I have too. My neighbor, who has been a resident most of his life here, has never received a notice to serve on the jury. I seem to get one every other year. I don't understand how that happens. Where are or what are they pulling from in order to get potential jurors?
I hear that all the time. I hear this all the time. We use voter registration, and that used to be the only list that we were using. We now use voter registration, the Department of Revenue, so if you pay taxes, or if you are the beneficiary of an estate or a trust that has to pay taxes, you're included, and the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, if you register a motor vehicle, if you have an identification card or a driver's license. Now, if you register a moped, you're also included. Or if you register a watercraft, you are included in that list.
So we're casting a wider net, so to speak.
Huge wide net, yes, yes.
So I've come in, I get the video and the instructions. Now I wait, but let's say I get called. What do I expect when I come into a courtroom as a potential juror?
When you come into the courtroom, you're going to sit in very much like in these seats. You'll be called up by your number. We don't use your names in court. You'll be called up by number to sit in the jury box, and then the judge will go through a brief questioning process to kind of ferret out some general propositions from people about their belief about the system and their belief about attorneys, criminal matters, civil matters, that kind of thing. And then the attorneys are given the opportunity as well to ask them questions to determine their qualifications to sit as jurors.
Now, attorneys get a certain number of strikes, is that correct?
Correct.
How many?
Correct. In a civil matter, they're given 3.
Okay.
In a criminal matter, a minor criminal matter, they're given 5. In a major felony, they're given 10. And in a death penalty case or life without parole case, the attorneys have 20 challenges that they can make.
Now, usually you have 12 jurors seated for most trials in Superior and Circuit Court.
Correct, for criminal.
Misdemeanor is probably a
Misdemeanor is 6, and a civil case is 6.
Okay. Obviously, something could come up during a trial in which a juror needs to be excused. How do they go about that?
Well, hopefully we've selected an alternate.
Right.
And hopefully, generally what happens is we've had this happen where a family member gets ill.
Right.
We've had car problems where folks can't get back to the courthouse for that particular reason. The juror themselves falls ill.
Right.
We've had it happen where they come back in and they've done some outside research perhaps on the case that's inappropriate. And we discover that and we discuss that matter with them, and oftentimes we'll remove them from the jury panel and then replace them with the alternate.
So the alternate has to sit in, the alternates that are chosen have to sit in during the trial.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they have to be ready in case they need to jump into it.
I always explain jury duty to the alternate as that you are the on-deck batter.
Right.
So you need to be paying attention to what's going on because you could get called on to serve. The alternate jurors are given all of the same rights that regular jurors are given. They have to pay attention. They can take notes. They can ask questions of witnesses during the trial, participate in discussions. The distinction is that they can't deliberate.
And it's interesting, I was not aware a juror can actually ask a question of a witness during the trial?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a process, and that's a new process that came about as a result of our jury rules. The idea being that a juror is a fact finder. Right. And if they have a question about a fact, to not give them the opportunity to ask that question kind of defeats the whole purpose of having them be the fact finder. So they have to write their question down. They can't just blurt it out in the middle of the court. They have to write their question down, and then the attorneys and I discuss it at the bench. And 9 times out of 10, it's an appropriate question to ask, and we'll ask the question.
Okay, so they have to submit the question, and it has to go through all the parties involved before it's determined, I suppose, if it's a relevant question, if it's, or if it has to be posed a certain way.
Right. And sometimes it's not relevant, but I will ask the question anyway because somebody is thinking about this. Right. So let's just kind of answer this question and move on to the next issue.
And the number of alternates can vary. I wasn't aware of that either, depending upon the makeup of the trial or exactly what's being tried at that time and the potential length of the trial.
Right. I mean, I know we've had as many as 4 alternates. We could have as many as 6 if the judge feels it's necessary, particularly on very lengthy, long trials where if the weather is bad, jurors, we need to make sure that we've got enough folks in reserve.
Okay, so I've been selected for the trial. I'm hearing the case. Once that's finished, you give the jury specific directions.
Correct. We give them jury instructions. They listen to the final arguments of the attorneys, and then they go back to deliberate, and they may have questions while they're deliberating, and there's a specific process to answer those types of questions as well.
They can even see evidence again.
They can see evidence, then back in the courtroom to review a videotape or additional photographs or something like that,
Okay. Do we receive payment to help us out a little bit? Because
grand sum of $40 a day.
Another question that comes up sometimes is that a person is picked for a jury and their employer balks at them serving on the jury. what kind of protection, I guess, does the individual have if they feel it's their duty to perform on the jury, yet they've got the boss saying, I can't afford you being gone, I need you here?
Well, we've been remarkably lucky here in Allen County that we have employers that appreciate the court system, appreciate the fact that they have employees that need to participate in the court system. We've had the opportunity a couple of occasions since I've been the supervising judge to call employers and just remind them that they have to allow their employees to participate and that failure to provide that opportunity is a Class B misdemeanor. And I don't really relish the idea of turning this over to the prosecutor. So we've never, one situation where we have filed, a case has been filed against an employer for that.
Would you say this is a rewarding experience for people? I can think of the cases where a person maybe sits for a week or two during a trial, they hear everything, and right before the instructions, the judge announces, we've either reached a settlement or we've reached a plea arrangement, and thanks a lot, but I'm sorry, your job's done here. Still, it's important, and would you say rewarding?
I would agree with that terminology, and it's funny that you put it that way because I've had jurors in the jury box. One of the questions that I ask is, have you served as a juror before? And they'll raise their hand, and I'll ask them, what kind of a case, and what was your experience? How was it? And inevitably, they'll say, well, I had a lot of dread coming into this, and I was really concerned, but it was very interesting, and I really appreciated having the opportunity. So I think once people get past the fear of the unknown, they find it to be, even in a criminal matter of some problem, they do find it to be an interesting and rewarding process. And I think they then appreciate what they have in this country versus what is available in other countries.
Okay. Judge Frangol, thanks a lot for being with us.
Pleasure.
Explaining the process for folks.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, maybe we've demystified this for you, answered some questions you've had in case you do get a notification. And a reminder once again, if you receive a notification and you get a phone call saying you didn't make it in, go buy a gift card from someone who claims to be a police officer or detective, it's a scam. Don't do it. You'll get notification directly from the court about that, and they'll get things taken care of on your end, but beware of that scam that's going on out there. Judge Gull, again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
2016 is going to be a huge year here in Indiana. Celebration of the state's bicentennial, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for folks to learn more about their state. Now, a number of events are being organized throughout every county in the state, and keeping her busy visiting throughout the state to find out what's going on and to report back to the Indiana Bicentennial Commission is the Bicentennial Ambassador, the First Lady of Indiana, Karen Pence. And first of all, Mrs. Pence, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about how things are going.
Well, things are going great. One of the things we decided to start doing was visiting some of the counties and see what's going on and take those ideas back to counties that might be struggling. We had a wonderful presentation here today about Allen County, where you guys have really done it right. You've done the arts, you've done the nature, you've got historical preservations, you've got a timeline, you've got festivals. I mean, so many areas where you've kind of taken what you have existing and tweaked it to make it part of the bicentennial.
So how many counties have you been to so far?
Well, we just started doing this, so this is our third visit. A lot of the counties are just kind of starting to get going. Once the bicentennial starts, we won't be doing these kind of visits anymore. We'll actually be visiting things that are actually happening for the bicentennial.
And you mentioned, I thought it was interesting, that yes, people are putting together very specific things just for the bicentennial, but there are ways communities can take what they traditionally do and, as you say, tweak it so that it fits within what you're looking for.
That's exactly right. A good example would be the Three River Festival, where you guys are actually going to make it a little bit different this year for the bicentennial. But people can go to our website too, indiana2016.org, and you can roll over your county and kind of see what's going on. We have a calendar, we have a marketplace, we have all kinds of things on the website.
Now, what exactly is the work of the Bicentennial Commission? What exactly are they doing?
Well, the Bicentennial Commission was established by Governor Mitch Daniels, and it's headed up by Lee Hamilton and Becky Skillman, and they're the co-chairs of it. And so that group kind of got together and said, what are some things that we want to include? And so their job, I think, really has been to kind of make sure that this is all inclusive. Are we including every single area that we possibly could? And it has so many different aspects to it. But they're doing, they're kind of focusing on getting people going in their own communities.
Now, let's say I'm part of an organization that wants to get involved in this and I've got some ideas for events. How do I get those to the Bicentennial Commission?
Okay, it's a great thing to do. I actually had this myself because I'm the ambassador. I'm not actually on the commission. So what I did was I'm going to actually have a bicentennial tea at the residence for the legislative spouses. And so I wanted it to be a legacy project endorsed by the Bicentennial. So you actually go on the website, legacy projects, and it's a very simple form where you can show how you want your activity to tie into the Bicentennial, and then that permits you to use the Bicentennial logo in everything that you do and be considered part of the Bicentennial celebration.
And is there a cutoff day or time for that?
I don't know. I don't think there is. No, we went the more the merrier. We're over 600 right now, so we'd love to see if you have something.
It's quite an exciting time, isn't it?
It is. It's very exciting. Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it so much. Best of luck to you, and we look forward to seeing everything that's going to be going on here in Indiana during the Bicentennial.
It's going to be exciting.
Well, that's what's happening from a statewide perspective for the Bicentennial here in Indiana. As far as what's happening here in Allen County, Kurt Witcher with the Allen County Public Library is coordinating events, and sounds like exciting times for you right now.
Very exciting times. We're so pleased with so many different projects from around the community, and that's really what our team wants to do, is to excite, encourage, and to help advertise and publicize all the neat things that are happening.
Give us just a few examples of things that were brought out at the meeting today.
Well, we saw how the University of St. Francis has gotten the Bicentennial stamp for the awesome reconstruction refurbishing project that's going on downtown. We saw how the parks are using Bicentennial funds to acquire more property and to do some neat things. We saw some virtual things. We saw how the Three Rivers Festival, always a crowd favorite, is going to do a little branding to help celebrate the Bicentennial.
We've got some arts projects, arts and education type events that will be taking place, and the library will be heavily involved.
Absolutely, and we looked at how we could best fit into the neat and exciting diversity of things going on, and we thought really enhancing the community album, which is a digital experience, and doing better, bigger things during the Bicentennial year to help people appreciate both contemporary times and their legacy, their history.
And I'm glad you touched on diversity, because here in Allen County, that really is important. We have the second largest city in Fort Wayne, the urban area, the growing urban area, but we also have the rural area that's important to this community as well. So bringing those two together is going to be great.
It is, and we're really looking forward to encouraging all the communities in Allen County, which, by the way, is the largest landmass county in Indiana. So you're right, a diversity of people's businesses.
Okay. So if there are organizations in Allen County that want to get involved in this and have ideas for events, how do they need to get, I guess, that information to you?
They can go to the Indiana's Bicentennial website, which is indiana2016.org. My email link is there. Certainly they can just contact the Allen County Public Library with an email, any one of the email channels. It'll get to my desk. So we're looking forward to helping market great ideas and collaborating in the community.
Okay. It's going to be a great time, I have a feeling. Kurt Witcher, thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate it. Best of luck to you during 2016, and we look forward to all the events coming up here in Allen County for Indiana's Bicentennial. And that's going to do it for this edition of County Line. I'm Mike Green, Public Information Officer in the Allen County Commissioner's Office, and we look forward to seeing you next time on County Line.